who else? There's Aeris. I forget what her name is here, but anyway, her name in the Final Fantasy VII is Aeris. She's a flower girl that gets killed, pretty much. Oversimplifying things for sure, but it's one of the saddest moments in video games. Like literally, if people, and I'm probably spoiling things quite a bit if you've never played Final Fantasy VII. I'm sorry, but if you go to YouTube and you search top 10 saddest moments in a video game, almost every single list will have Aeris on that list. Will have that moment in Final Fantasy VII on their list. That moment is ingrained in many, many gamers' minds forever. It's not. I'm not sure that it's been that other games haven't done it as well or better since, but that it was one of the first video games that you were like, oh my god, kind of thing. But yeah, she's just a sweet, innocent flower girl. Yay! Leveled up. Level like what, 6 now? So yeah. Alright. So next thing on the list. Yes, people want more stories about when I was in the army, specifically when I was Op 4 in Germany. I do admit that those must be more entertaining to listen to. Okay, so when I was in Germany, when I was Op 4, we had some fun there. The problem with that is that a lot of people didn't like you to do your job. In other words, your job as Op 4 is basically to be the best enemy you can be, because the better enemy you are, the better the soldiers they become, theoretically. Well, a lot of commanders didn't like when their unit did horribly, and they like to try and blame it on the Op 4. For example, perfect example, one of the things I recall, of course, is a lot of what we did was train people to go to Iraq. And when you're training people to go to Iraq, it's not like World War II, where everyone's a combatant type of thing. We had all-out battles. No, almost a lot of the fights in Iraq, or a lot of the stuff you do in Iraq and Afghanistan, was peacekeeping. With civilians and stuff. So we were training people to do crowd control and secure perimeters in non-violent fashion, and the idea was to rile the soldiers up and see how they worked under pressure, kind of thing. But basically, you had a military base set up in a building for whatever reason. They were in somewhat hostile territory. They were supposed to be guarding a VIP, something like that. It was years ago. I don't remember the exact details. But the unit was a unit of tankers, not infantry soldiers, but people who drive tanks were going through this because they were cross-training. And their job was to form a perimeter around the building. Excuse me. I'm gonna level up one more time, and then we'll call it quits. And that'll probably take a while. Form a perimeter around the building of about, I don't know, 6-foot radius or whatnot. But you had a whole bunch of people standing in a line, and outside was a crowd. We were the crowd. We were the people protesting against some government, whatever. And the idea was they were supposed to keep us at bay without using lethal force, etc., etc. And we were supposed to be belligerent, but not incredibly violent. We were supposed to, yell at them, insult them, throw dirt at them, throw water at them, etc., etc., but not physically attack them. At some point, there's supposed to be a car bomb going off, and we have to see how they react. And of course, there would be injured casualties among them, and we have to see. Okay, here's the idea, and here's how we handle it. Because of course, whenever you go through training, you have to go through it first. Before you can be the bad guys, you have to be the good guys, so you understand what to do. You are standing in a line in front of a building, they yell at you, they insult you, and you completely ignore it. If they get too close, you gently shove them back, etc., etc. The car bomb goes off, and 2 or 3 people are injured. And what you do is you extend the perimeter around the injured people. In other words, your line of people actually just expands, but still maintaining, a perimeter around the injured people, and then you bring them back inside the building. And then you, of course, collapse the perimeter around the building again, and that's how you deal with it. Well, they didn't do that at all. Hang on. What they did was, well, first of all, a lot of the times we didn't even get to the car bomb. We'd start screaming insults at them and shouting at them, and the very first time we tried this, someone threw dirt at them, and they opened fire. I'm sorry, I don't care if you're a civilian that's never spent a day in the army. I'm pretty sure you would know that just because someone throws dirt at you is not opening fire on them is not an appropriate response. But these guys did. And when I say open fire, I mean the first guy started shooting and everyone else just laid into them. I mean, it was a massacre. And we're like, what the hell? I remember one of my friends, I don't remember, Silva, I believe was his name. We were Op 4, and of course we were supposed to pretend we don't speak any English whatsoever. But they threw dirt at the guy. The guy opened fire. Everyone opened fire and was just spraying into this crowd of people. And I remember he just broke character and said, well, I'll paraphrase, WTF? What the heck are you thinking? What is wrong with you? You gonna just open up on innocent people because they throw dirt at you? It was, yeah, so they had to restart that exercise. And the second time was not much better. They managed to get to the car bomb part without having to end the exercise. The car bomb went off, and the COs, which are the people kind of like the referees, go up to the line and say, you three, the 3 closest to the car bomb, you're injured, lay down. But you're injured out here. So here's what happened. Well, instead of keeping order and expanding a perimeter, everyone just rushed to their aid. And so you had like a whole bunch of clusters. You had a whole bunch of clusters. I'm sorry, I'm motioning with my hands because it's so hard to say. You're supposed to have like this semicircle of protection. Well, you just had the semicircle break and go to 3 little groups trying to help these innocent people, or these injured people. And we're sitting there, we're not even knowing what to do because we're expecting certain responses. We're expecting them to react a certain way, and we know what to do when they react that way. Well, we didn't expect such ignorance. So we stand there for a second, we're like, what do we do? And they're like, well, there's no perimeter. Let's just go into their control center. There's no guards. They're all in these injured people. There's nothing stopping us. So we're like, screw it. Let's run into the building. Maybe we can, I mean, we were there protesting anyway, right? So we'd probably want to get into that building, do something. So we just ran into the building. What did the geniuses do? They turned around and opened up into the building where their commanding officers were standing. Yep, I kid you not. Because we're not talking about an office building here. We're talking about a single-story adobe, you know, like mud and brick, which does not stop bullets for crap. Not brick, sorry, mud and whatever. But anyway, walls that do not stop bullets even a little bit. One room building, and basically like the you know, platoon leader and platoon commander and all that stuff were in there supposedly making plans or whatnot. Well, so all your high personnel are in this room, and we run into the room, and the geniuses turn around and open fire into the room. Yeah, they had to stop the exercise again, and had to say, no, you do not open fire into a room with your commanding officer. That's called bad. Not shooting commanding officer, good. It was, these guys were horrible. I felt so sorry. Well, for them, really, I did, because they did not know how to do much of anything. One of the funniest stories just involved me. It was hilarious. But they were learning how to patrol down a road, and how to take out or deal with a sniper in a window. And here's the basic scenario. You got about 12 guys. God, I'm using my hands to motion again. You have not 12 guys. You have a platoon of I think it was 30 to 35 guys marching down the road. You know, 12 on one side, 12 on the other. You had a Humvee in the middle, which is like a Jeep. That's the best thing I can describe. You guys should know what a Humvee is. With a 50 cal on top, which is a giant machine gun, and the gunner on top with the 50 cal. And basically they're just patrolling down the street. And there's my job was, it was just me by myself with as much ammo as I could carry. Which honestly should have been a moot point. I only took two magazines with me of 30 bullets, so I only had like 60 rounds, and because I shouldn't have even had the chance to use anywhere near that much, because I'm supposed to open up on them, and then they're supposed to respond by laying down suppressive fire to try and keep my head down. In other words, everyone's supposed to open up on that window to try and keep my head down. And then while half of them do that or whatnot, the other go into the building, start clearing the building until they find me and then kill or subdue me. So, since it's me and like 35 of them, you know, I shouldn't be able to do that much damage. It's the theory. So, they tell me go find a house somewhere, because we're in what they call a mount site, which is just basically it's a training center that has a whole bunch of buildings in it. Fake, well, they're real buildings, but they're you know, they have no furniture. They're not. It's just supposed to simulate a city. And so I hunt around and I find a building that has 2 stories. And the stairs actually go from the first floor to the second floor, but they come up out of the ground. And what I mean by that is the second floor is just one big room with no walls except for the walls separating from the exterior. It's literally a huge square. And the staircase actually comes up to the floor, and you just come out above the floor. There's no railing, there's no wall, there's no nothing. So, in other words, if someone's coming up those stairs, you're going to see their head pop up. And I thought, well, that's a good kill zone. That'll let me get 3 or 4 maybe before they take me down. So what I do is I go up on the second floor. I choose a nice window, and I wait for them to come down the road. And I wait until they get to where they're supposed to be, and I pop off 2 rounds. And we're using something called Miles here, which is like laser tag. It's basically what it is. You put a little box on the end of your rifle, and it is activated by the vibrations of your rifle. What you do is you put blanks. It's your real rifle, and you're firing blanks, which is like real bullets without the bullet, just gunpowder. And what you do is you fire the blank, and the vibration of the blank sets off the laser, and whatever the laser's pointed at, if it matches the sensors that they're wearing, it goes off, like laser tag. So what I did is I waited for them to get close enough, and I popped off 2 rounds into their gunner of the 50 cal, and I took him out. And and then they do what they were supposed to do that first one. They completely open up on me.